Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So Faramor just got released to the VN server earlier just now, and we just got back from our whole day of trips and stuff. I'm still on my holidays, so I'll be a little bit softer, not to disturb my neighbors, and we're going to talk about Faramor today while showcasing some gameplays with this unit. So first of all, Faramor's ultimate, Sanctified Circle, consumes 250 energy to summon a one-tile magical circle centered on his current target, dealing damage, true damage by the way, to enemies caught inside. While the circle is active, he consumes 120 energy per second to maintain it. Okay, enemies within the circle cannot heal. Every 0.5 seconds they take 35% true damage, plus extra true damage equals to 20% of their lost HP. Okay, equals to 20% of their lost HP is probably going to make him quite good for the Dream Realm side, because the last unit that had it was actually Harak. So yeah, I guess we can probably see him in the next few days. So next one, the extra true damage cannot exceed 240% of Faramor's attack. If no enemies remain in the circle for 1 second, the skill ends immediately. Okay, so increase in levels increases the subsequent damage as well as the damage when you summon a magical circle. Okay, this is big. Yeah, this skill alone has everything you'll need for the Dream Realm side. True damage on lost HP, and in case you guys do not know, right, the other unit that has this skill is Hara over here, right? Each reduced extra damage equals to 6% of the enemy's lost HP. So I'm assuming there is a little bit of difference in terms of true damage to this deals extra damage equals to 6% of the enemy's lost HP, but true damage I think is still quite impressive. So I'm guessing, like, based on Faramor's this part ability, this ultimate over here, probably a pretty decent Dream Realm character. So next, let's go into the second skill, Glorious Embrace. To imbue his weapon with sacred power, gaining a shield that absorbs damage while dealing damage to his current target. The shield lasts for 6 seconds. If Faramor has an active non-permanent stat boost from his allies when using this skill, it instead deals true damage. Okay. True damage, more true damage over here. And then, okay, so basically he casts a shield, right, and then deal damage. So this damage is physical because he's a physical attacker, right? But if you have a non-permanent stat buff, it becomes true damage, which Twins is non-permanent, Smokey is non-permanent. Okay. Now, third skill, Sacred Pledge. Passive during the battle preparation, Faramor can bless an adjacent allied hero, prioritizing those placed behind him. Okay. Active. Increases attack by 12% for 10 seconds for both himself and the hero he bless. Okay. Automatically reapplying the buff when it expires. Every 3 seconds when the buff is active, Faramor also deals damage to enemies within 1 tile of both himself and the blessed hero, stunning the affected enemies for 0.5 seconds. Okay, so it's a double buff both to himself as a damage dealer as well as another allied hero, which is probably another carry for damage dealing purposes while dealing damage with some mini stun. Okay, hero focus is increased in haste. Bitter Requiem replaces his normal attack with Glorious Embrace while his magic circle is active, but the shield value he gains from Glorious Embrace is kept at 600%. Okay, the magic circle also weakens the enemies within it, allowing allies to deal extra true damage equal to 75% of their attack. Each ally can only trigger the extra damage once every 1 second. Wait, hold on, let me just very normal attack with Glorious Embrace. So he replaces this skill with this one, and if he has a non-permanent active buff, he deals true damage, right, with his normal attack. Oh my god, that's pretty big, right? And it allows allies to also do true damage. Okay, Okay, increase in level increases the extra true damage dealt by allies to 80% of their attack. When an enemy is defeated within the magic circle, grants Faramor 10% attack and expands the circle radius to 2 tiles. This effect can only be triggered once per battle. Okay, I'm not too sure how the ultimate circle effect will work, but we will run through how it works and then talk more about this part of the ability, right? This level 3 part. But taking a look at this ability, if you combine the first skill, the second skill with the potential to buff himself to do more damage as well as another ally to do more damage, yeah, this guy looks like a pretty OP Dream Realm character like I was told. So we were going to do some runs with him and then showcase the difference with Faramor as well as without Faramor. And then for the last skill, Supreme Plus, if an enemy revives within Faramor's magic circle after their HP drops to 0, Faramor would... Oh, dude, Faramor's gonna be freaking broken. Dude, look at this. Because he's gonna counter like 2 of the most popular unit in Arena right now, Talin as well as Tarsi. And then he does look like he has a pretty decent like damage output potential with buffing as well as shielding and also true damage, which applies to like enemies in the PvP side. So wow, Faramor could be the limit this season. So without further ado, let's jump into the gameplay before giving our first thoughts of this unit. Let's go. Okay, so I was just casually browsing through the AFK stage. There was actually this VM player that tried Faramor out with this comp. So let's just copy this comp and see what Faramor can do as he buffs up the Bonnie right here. So without further ado, let's start the battle. Okay, I'm not going to judge how good this team would be, but we just want to see what Faramor can do for the team. Okay, so we are buffing up our Bonnie over here. Faramor himself is gonna cast the ultimate to get this magic circle. Okay, oh yeah, the expansion of the magic circle might make him good for AFK stage pushing as well, because you're able to kill the enemy and then you get the circle buff up, which allows your allies to deal true damage within the expanded AoE. And if you combine that with Iron, it's quite easy to put all the enemies within the circle for Faramor's damage output to reach a lot of enemies. Oh my god, Faramor sounds like a really broken all-rounder character right here. Okay, so that's the magic, that's the ultimate over here. Okay. Okay, so that's for this part. Okay, AFK stage done. Let's take a look at the damage distribution. Okay, so Bonnie is one of the strongest damage dealer right here. What? What? Oh, dude, guys, Bonnie is one of the strongest AFK stage pushing unit and Faramor does more damage than her. Oh my god. Okay, let's move on to the next battle. But do this on the VN server in case you guys haven't realized, right? So, we're gonna use the same comp. Okay, let's see whether or not we can clear it with this comp and then we'll run through the damage output once again. Okay, let's go into three times. Right, see whether or not we can survive and then finish the stage. Twins gets also ultimate. Iron pulls everyone together. Okay, so if there's no enemy in the magical circle, right, the magical circle will disappear, but if you cast the ultimate, he'll be able to cast it again. So that's the magical circle. Okay, Tarsi spams the skill. Bonnie. Actually, to be really honest, right, it's not only just a good damage here, it feels like the whole team is hitting a lot harder. Okay, savvy support. No, no way. This is not what a savvy support does. Looks really impressive on the AFK stage side and probably the upcoming limit for this season. So next, let's move on to the Dream Realm side for some showcase. Let's go. So for the Dream Realm side, Mr. Pete here actually did some runs. So I can actually showcase the different records that was done by Mr. Pete. So Mr. Pete did 86 build with Faramor right here. And if we were to compare it with the previous best team, right, which is, okay, we'll compare one with Harak and one with the best team. So let's go into battle. So we have a comparison between both the teams in terms of the damage output. But I think this one is the best one, right? Yeah, this is the best comp with Faramor. Let me just go into records. Yeah, so this is the best comp with Faramor. And let's run through the numbers here, okay? So Faramor doing more damage than Harak. I cannot. I mean, he's got to buff out Harak here, right? So yeah, so you're gonna buff up Barak, but he's gonna carry harder than Harak. So let's run through the battle here. We still have a few runs, so let's go through his battle. Okay, artifact of choice, we're gonna go with harmonic spell. Snow Stomper is gonna prevent Harak from devouring our allies, but also reducing Harak's damage output by quite a bit, because Harak's damage output is also quite reliant on the ultimate itself. But with Faramor's buff, right, we are able to do quite a fair bit of damage with the attack buff over here. And on top of that, right, because we have this true damage buff onto Harak even during the silence, because once Faramor casts the circle itself, the circle will stay on the battlefield as long as he has energy to sort of maintain this circle. So without further ado, let's go into battle. Okay, so we'll go at one time because I want to see like the full Dream Realm battle against Snow Stomper right here. So we buff up Harak as our like buff target, similar to for example Sonya, and then we have the circle in front. Okay, so he's consuming energy, right? You can take a look at the energy bar right here to maintain the magic circle. So it is actually insanely good against Snow Stomper because, right, he doesn't need to cast the skill again, and the skill is there, which is able to buff up all the allies on the front line with the Supreme Plus skill of the ability for true damage, and also, right, deal damage to Snow Stomper at the same time. Yeah, and while we have all this non-permanent buff from the likes of, for example, our artifact harmonic spell, as well as twins over here, Faramor's second skill deals true damage, while having the Supreme Plus skill convert the normal attack into the second skill. So yeah, this unit is bonkers. Okay, so we'll go at 3 times to finish the fight, and then we run through the damage distribution. So Harak in this fight is not exactly the strongest, but right, Harak is, I'll say, one of the highest damage dealer in this boss. He can do better against other bosses, so it's not fair to compare Harak at this state to Faramor in terms of sheer damage, but to be able to match Harak or even beat Harak, I think, yeah, this unit is definitely really impressive. So yep, that's pretty much it for Faramor. Looking at the other bosses in the next few days of this season, Lone Gaze is probably a boss which might counter Faramor to a certain extent, because Lone Gaze can jump out of the magical circle, which reduces the damage efficiency, right, in terms of the true damage buff. But then the other part of Faramor's kit is still gonna hit the boss most of the time because it's melee, so he will be outside of the mist if the boss is outside of the mist. So that's that. Elucia the Unveiler, I do think that he might be insanely good because it's still physical, right? If you can actually do a mix of true and physical damage, I do think that he's gonna be meta for Elucia. Talessa is definitely gonna be challenging because, like, Talessa is a character where melee units usually suffer, but who knows, maybe we can find a tech to teleport him in front into Talessa, and maybe he might see some use there. So that's for Talessa, maybe one of the more challenging boss for him. Crystal Beetle, to be really honest with you guys, right, in Crystal Beetle, Shakir can maintain his Lupine aura with the additional magical regen. So looking at this, I think this unit is pretty much going to be crazy good for, I'll say, easily at least 5 to 6 bosses based on what we can tell from his kit right now. So let me know what you think. I do think that this is going to be the Lily May of this season, and I'm gonna probably pull for him on my free-to-play account after the next few days of testing, and then use my swap ticket for him. If he's really good, at least I'll say for 2 more bosses to come, which I think Lone Gaze as well as Elucia will have a slot for him in the best team itself. So that's it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.